So I've been thinking about sex today, and it led me to start thinking about more things in life, I suppose. So initially I was thinking about methods of having sex, and then now I'm thinking about the purpose of having sex, and I suppose what life is all about. And it does seem, when I look at my life and think about how I've lived, it seems the pursuit of sex has been possibly the main thing. I mean, there was my career and education and skills and whatever, but the main aim, I suppose, was about romantic relationships and sex and babies and family thereafter. So I'm confused a lot in life now because of injury I've had. So this what's led me to wonder what life is all about and what I'm doing now. So I have decided recently, for example, to not pursue sex again in life. No more romance for me. I see it as too risky because I don't want to have more children. So I've had children and I don't want to have more children. And the pill and condoms, whatever, are not reliable enough for me. So it seems that I don't have a choice but to not have sex. So then I'm wondering what life is about for me now if there isn't sex. And I'm wondering if the whole of life is about the pursuit of sex and reproduction. Is that the definition of what life is? And that all of the other achievements in life are just support for the pursuit of sex and babies from a man's point of view. And initially, I'm just thinking as I go, but initially it does seem as if life can be defined like that. Life is about the pursuit of sex and babies, reproduction, in other words. Now, that doesn't seem to be enough for me, because when I think about all the other aspects of life, education and work and philosophy and all that business, there's a lot of stuff going on in life, and many things are occurring. But I suppose fundamentally, it does seem to be about reproduction, creating children for the sake of it, having sex is therefore a main aim, it seems. But I'm also thinking that reproduction isn't the reason why men pursue sex so vigorously. Reproduction is secondary, it's a byproduct of the pursuit of sex. Men pursue sex for the pleasure of it, and then children happen as a result. They're a consequence. I think it is interesting to appreciate that sex is not about having fun for a man. It's not about pleasure. It is about reproduction. And although there are techniques to avoid reproduction, they're not 100% reliable in the main. And from a man's point of view, he's not in control of his destiny to an extent when he has sex. So in my own life, I've decided to not have sex anymore because I do want to control my destiny and I don't want to have any more children. So it's led me to think about what life is all about. And it does seem as if, initially, it seems as if all the other achievements in life are secondary to the pursuit of sex. Reproduction seems to be what life is all about. Continuing the species for the sake of it. And it does seem initially that everything else is just support for that, a byproduct and incidental in a way. And it's kind of weird to see things this way. So life, it seems, can be defined simply as the pursuit of reproduction, and that's the end of it. Everything else is secondary to reproduction. And I'm finding that's quite disappointing in a way, and it's making me wonder how I'm going to live now. Because I've decided to not have sex again, that means I've decided to not reproduce. So nature, in a sense, is not interested in me now. I'm not useful. And nature has made the pursuit of sex important in my life, but not to make me happy, but to produce babies. So nature isn't happy. It isn't interested in whether I'm happy or not. Nature just wants more babies. So I have decided not to have more babies, and that means that I can't have more sex. Now I could have sex, but I'm not comfortable with the methods of avoiding pregnancy. I don't think they're reliable enough. So I'm thinking now, I won't have sex again in life. Can I still be happy? Will I be miserable because I'm not pursuing sex or not having sex? Initially, I'm thinking I can manage it, but I have to find other interests that replace the pursuit of sex. And I do have other interests, I suppose, but I'm wondering if they're going to be sufficient to avoid romance. Well, I certainly hope so, because I'm fairly certain that I've made this decision and I'll stick with it. But it is strange to be considering not having sex again in life. And it's weird, basically, because it seems the pursuit of sex has always been a default behavior in me. But I am wondering now if I've just been used by nature to produce more people. And I'm wondering what's good for me and how I should be living. And so my thinking on me has made me decide not to have sex again. So I'm hoping I can make life work despite not having sex. So it's led me to think on just how important sex is for a man in life. And it is fundamentally important, I would say. But the question is, should it be? And should we, as men, seek to reduce the importance of sex in life so that we have more control of ourselves? So yeah, I'm just thinking fairly randomly about sex and its importance to a man. I haven't thought from a woman's perspective. I'm not sure if I'm capable of doing that justice. So it's from a man's point of view. So I am wondering and hoping that I can be happy in life despite not having sex. I think I can, but just hope it turns out that way.